Welcome all, Boone here from EWPRO. So getting straight into the weekly outlook, looking at DXY on the daily. We're looking at this internal wave in here. So we've got a WXY, looking for that X2 down to that 38.2 retracement. And we've got that now, so we can start looking for that Z up. On the H4, like I mentioned last week, we were looking for a little bit more downside in here. We've actually lost all the bullish divergence, so it makes it a little bit more difficult now because we may get a bear hidden in here between that top and then give us another one down. But I think if we go down to the H1, if you get any buy set up in here, if you get a little flag or correction in here, look for that buy. Just be mindful that we may get a bear hidden on the, well, even on the H1 here, we may get a bear hidden, and on the H4. So we still, it's more of a scalp because it may just come up here, give us a C up, and then more downside. So it's really only a scalp. But if you do get a buy setup, I'd be looking for that buy for a scalp. AU on the daily. So we got that WXY, X2, Z down. We lost the bullish divergence like I've been mentioning. So I was just looking for this as a correction for more downside for another one down. This one here is still looking very corrective. On the daily, got moving to the H4. Sort of looking for a sell setup here last week, but it gave us that other one up. So we got an A, B, C in here for an A, B, C. I don't think we have bearish divergence here. No, so we lost our bearish divergence. But if you do get a sell, we've got the C up. So if you do get a sell set up, you can look for the sell. It's quite risky again because we have a possible bull hidden. So you really need to wait for a nice flag or correction before you can look for the sell. And if you do get a buy setup, you know, you could even look for that to go and break the top because we do have that possible bull hidden. So yeah, it's quite difficult to trade, and you're going to have to wait for your setups before you can trade. It's going to be quite difficult this coming week to get the direction because most of the pairs are like the AU. They can go either way. Looking at the EU on the daily, so we're looking at this internal wave. We're looking at WXY. We got the cross up now, and I dare say we will get a bear hidden in here. We've reached that 38.2 retracement, which we like to see in the X2. So we'll be looking for the Z down. Now on the H4, we lost our bearish divergence again. So it becomes risky. On the H1, it's very similar to AU. We have this possible bull hidden. So we got a WXY getting an X2, and we can get a Z up to finish off this H4 X2 before we get the downside. So you really need to wait. If you get a bearish flag in here again, you can look for the sell, but it's only really a scalp. And you know, again, if you get 3 down in here and a buy set up, well, then you can look for the buy for the bull hidden. So you're really going to have to watch price action, get a nice entry, and move it to break even. GU on the daily, we have that WXY come down to that 100 fib, but we have this possible bear hidden here. So there's nothing to say we won't get another one down in here and breaking this low until we take out this top. If we take out that top, well, then you can look for your longer term buy setup to go and break the top. On the H4, we're looking at some sort of a W, X, Y. We're still in this wave Y. Then we'll be looking for X2 and then a Z up. I'd be waiting for this X2 before I look for that Z up. That's the safest option. On the H1, we don't really have any bearish divergence and we have a possible bull hidden. So again, this can go up and break the top and then give us that bearish divergence, what we're looking for, and then we want, you know, some sort of a sell setup and look for the sell in the X2. Yeah. So I'll be more interested in the sell now, because wait for this H4 wave Y to be over and then start looking for your sells. But at this stage on the H1, like I said, you know, we have that possible bull hidden. So if you're going to scalp, you know, wait for a little bullish flag or something in here, scalp it, and it's really only a scalp if you're buying. And you on the daily, this is still looking quite corrective in here for more downside. Like I've been mentioning, there's a couple of scenarios here. We get that 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then an impulse down, which can be the end of the move, or we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in here for some sort of a larger flat before we get an A, B, C. Then you get that A, B, C for something more complex. H4, we lost our bearish divergence. We were looking for a buy up in here last week. And I was hoping it would give us a bearish divergence, but it didn't give us that bearish divergence. So it becomes risky. Like I said last week, we were looking for this buy up in here for the A, B, C, and then we get that A, B, C. We broke the top, but we lost all the bearish divergence. But it may be over. So you can, you know, it really depends, because it's like the AU. We have this possible bull hidden here. So it may come up here and give you a buy setup to buy and break that top. Or that may be the end of the wave C on the H4 and we get a bearish setup in here. And then you could look for the sell. You really need to wait for the setup to see what setup we get, because like I said, they can go either way this week. Excuse me. Looking at UY on the daily. So we got this A, B, C. We had that bull hidden. We broke the top. Now we got that bearish divergence. So I was looking for the sell last week. Like I said, this can be an A, B, C in here, and then give us another one up for a flat in here for an A, B, C. On the H4, so nothing's changed. We were looking for that sell last week. We got that nice sell. We don't know where this wave C will end, so it's very risky to be selling at this now, because we've already got like a nice A, B, C as a running flat. It may turn into an expanding flat. We don't know, but yeah. So on the H1 last week, we were looking at this as a contracting flat, and I said look for the sells, and you got quite a few sell setups, so you should have got at least some of that move down. We don't have any bullish divergence, so again this may give some sort of correction in here, and then give us bear hidden for another one down to finish off the move. So again, if you get a bullish setup, you can look for the buy, but it's only really a scalp until we take out that top there. Yeah, and take out that possible bear hidden. UCAD on the daily. Oh, sorry, the Swissy on the daily. So we're looking at, we've got that A, B, C in here, and we were looking for the C down. Instead, we got this. This is looking very corrective. Like I said last week, I am still expecting more downside, but this is, you know, it's very slow. We're looking for something like this over here. But I still am expecting more downside. But yeah, it's risky to trade. It's not really playing the game. So if we look at this as some sort of an A, B, C in here for a flat, and then we got that A, B, C, we do have bullish divergence between these, this low and this low. So this may be the end of the move and become quite complex and give us another one up, breaking this top. Yeah, it's it's quite complex. You know, last week we were looking for that as the end of wave C. It went up, it gave us another high, and then fell over on us. Like I was expecting more downside. We've gone and just broken that low now. There's no, I'm actually in the buy on this in here. So if you do get a buy set up, you can look for the buy. It's risky because there's no real setup on it. We got a lower low over here, lower low. So really, you know, I'd be expecting a correction in here, some sort of a correction in there, and then give us another one down for an A, B, C, because we've got that lower low. So it may be quite choppy next week. UCAD on the daily. So like I've been mentioning, whatever's happening in here, I'm looking as a correction. So this may be like an A, B, C in here, and then give us another one up. Or this is the end of the move and we just got like an A, B, C, and then we got that A, B, C, and that's the end of the move. I don't think this is the end of wave C. I'm more of the opinion that we're going to get another one down here and then another one up here for a flat and a larger wave C up. That's the way I'm expecting it to play out. But you know, again, this may be the end of wave C and we go and break that low from here. It's possible, you know. On the H4, we lost our bullish divergence, you know. So really, I'd be expecting a correction in here, giving us that bear hidden, and then another one down, and then giving us that bullish divergence, and then we could look for that buy setup. Yeah, you can really only sell it because we don't have that bullish divergence, unless you're going to scalp it on the H1. You really need to go down onto the lower time frames to look at this, because on the H1 we sort of have a WXY. This can be an X2 and we get a Z down. If you, again, if you get a bullish setup, you could look for a buy. Not really expecting to break that top, so it's only a scalp, and then, you know, look for yourself set up to go and break that low for a Z down. Yeah, it's going to be, next week's going to be quite difficult to trade at this stage, because there's so many different, the market can go either way at this stage. So looking at GY, sorry. We're looking at WXY, X2, Z up. We got up to that 123.6 on the daily, and we had that possible ball hidden. It hasn't quite broken the top. There's nothing to say that it won't at this stage, but on the H4, we're looking for that, like I said last week, we're looking for that X2 before we get that Z up. We're starting to get that X2, and we do have ball hidden here. I believe we do have ball hidden. I'll just check. Yeah, we have ball hidden there. So this is ideal. Last week we were looking for that sell, and you would have got a nice sell in there. This week we'll be looking for a buy setup to give us that Z up. So last week this was looking nice. Like I said, we had a lower low here on the lower time frames, and this was looking corrective. If you took that, you broke the low, so you should have at least owned, or at least got break even or taken some profit. It become more complex because we got another high and then another one down. If you get a little buy set up in here, I'd be looking for the buy to go and break the top for that Z up. EG on the daily. Now this is very complex as well. We got that W, X, Y, X2, Z down. We're at that 161.8 now, but like I said last week, in here we've lost our bullish divergence, which is a little bit concerning. H4, nothing's really changed. We're looking for, you know, I'd like to see it get back up to that 38.2 to give us the risk reward to trade this Z down. This is looking very corrective for more downside at this stage. I sort of am looking for the buy up to the 38.2. I have been taking a couple of buys, like took one in here and it break even, and so it's very messy. This is more of a self setup in here now. It's become it's not giving a buy setup, so yeah, it's more, I don't really want to sell it because we're at a low. I'm more interested in a bit of luck, this goes and breaks that low. That's the end of wave Y, and then we get a nice impulse, correction of flag, and then we can buy. I'm more interested in the buy. Gold on the daily. This is quite complex as well, like I've been explaining. We got 1, 2, 3 in here, 1, 2, 3, so we can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in here for some sort of a larger correction in here, and then get one up in here, and then get an A, B, C, or this is an A, B, and we get a C up in here. So again, this is very complex. We don't know which structure is going to play out, and either or could play out. We had that like an A, B, C up in here, so we're looking for downside. I was hoping this would trigger it to go and break the low, and never broke the low. But again, this is all looking very corrective for downside, so it's very risky to be buying. And if you're buying, you're only scalping at this stage. You know, see, last week we were looking for a WXY. We didn't have that bullish divergence, and I was just looking for some sort of a correction up in here, and then another one down, because we have that possible bear hidden. And we still haven't broken that top, so it still is possible that this is a bear hidden, and we go and break that low. So I'd be more interested in the sell at this stage, but you're going to have to be very careful, because this can be an A, B, C in here, and then for another one up. and that will take, if it gives another one up, well, that will take out the possible bear hidden. So it's yeah, but if you get a little sell set up in here, I'd be taking it to go and break that low, getting it to break even. We're in a large correction, so you know, you're only really scalping, protecting your position and get moving to break even as soon as you can. Yeah, looking at WTI on the daily, we got that WXY X2 Z up. Again, we have that possible bull hidden. This is just about broken the top. That hopefully, if it does break the top, hopefully it does give us a bearish divergence. Hopefully we don't lose that bearish divergence. We're still in this wave Y on the H4. We're still in that H4 wave Y. I'd be more interested in waiting for the correction, waiting for a correction in here in the X2 before looking for the buy. Looking at the H1, starting to get bearish divergence in these last two legs. So it's very risky to be buying. I'll be more interested in getting a nice sell setup, you know, and then looking for the sell while we're at this height, looking for that X2 down to the 38.2. But I can't really draw that yet because we don't know where that wave Y will end. Once we get the end of that wave Y, then we can look for the 38.2 retracement of the wave Y. Bitcoin on the daily. So this has given a double bottom here now. So I was looking for that possible bull hidden. It's actually given a double bottom, so it's made it quite difficult. Looking at the H4, we do have the bullish divergence. So I'm like last week, I'm more interested in the buy. We may get, I'll have to go down onto the lower time frame. We just got one wave down in here. So we have a possible bull hidden here. So if you get a buy set up in here, you know, you could buy it to break that top, move it to break even, and you may get a nice move up to the at least the 50 fib of the daily, because we'll be looking for a 50 fib retracement of this. So we'll be looking for something back to the 50 fib. So I'll be looking for buy setups, you know, and targeting that 50 fib for a longer, you know, some sort of a larger correction. Either this is bull hidden and it goes and breaks the top, or we get like some sort of a correction in here for more downside. So I'll be looking for a larger correction in here. It could be quite choppy for a whole, you know, 6 months or more. S&P 500 on the daily, still waiting for that larger correction back to the 50 fib, but it keeps on breaking the top. Like I said last week, we got 3 up in here. So this can be an A, B, C, and then we go up and break the top again. So it may not be the end of the, we may not have seen the top yet. Like I mentioned last week, we can look at that as a triangle for an A, B, C, and then we get that A, B, C, and then we go up and break the top. It's given a deep correction in here. So if we go on the H1, sort of, I'm still looking for a buy. You know, if you get a buy set up in here, look for the buy to go and break the top as that flat. Yeah, you can't. it's messy because we've got a very deep correction in here, so it may be just an A, B, C, and then give us another like an A, B, C in here. So if you do get a buy set up, you know, get it to break even, protect your position, and you know, even if you took half off it, that like that A, B, C, the 100 fib, you know, AU 200 on the daily. So we got all the bearish divergence, you know. This one here did break the top, so I'm looking at it as an A, B, so we should get a C down to that 100 fib. So I'm more interested in the sell. On the H4 though, we have the possible bull hidden. So there's nothing to say that we can't get that Z up, just breaking that top, giving us the bearish divergence, and then, you know, if you get a sell set up, you know, this is something you definitely don't want to miss. I'm really more interested in the sells because we're at a top. The DAX on the daily, like I said last week, we got that WXY X2 Z up, and we had a bull hidden here, I believe. We haven't quite broken the top. This is looking corrective though. Like in here, we got an A, B, C, not quite breaking that top. So I'll be more interested in like an A, B, getting onto this wave C, breaking this low. So if you get any sell set up, I'd be looking for the sell. You may get, we have this lower low here. So we may get another one up in here, giving us an A, B, C, and then if you get a sell set up, look for that sell to go and break the low. The FTSE on the daily. So this one's kept on going up. So we're looking at W, X, Y, X2, and a Z. We've lost our bullish divergence now. Bearish divergence, sorry, in between the last two highs. So yeah, it's becoming, and we're at a top, right? You know, we look on the weekly quickly. We're waiting for this top to be broken, because if that top there doesn't get broken, we'll have bear hidden and we'll go and break that low. So, you know, it could be a big trade to the downside. We lost that bearish divergence on the on the daily. On the H4, we're getting bearish divergence, so I'll be more interested in looking for the sell. On the H1, you know, we're getting, looks like we get, you know, some sort of a flat here for an A, B, C in here, and then you get an A, B. It's looking like it's going to break the top. So, and we'll probably more than likely get even more bearish divergence. If you get even more bearish divergence, wait for your trend line break, flag or correction, and look for the sell. I'll be more interested in the sell. So I hope you enjoyed the weekly outlook. Enjoy your week, and I'll see you out there next week. Bye.